Billionaire Alexander Nwoko, a tall, caramel-skinned man in his mid-30s, paced around his massive Lagos mansion. His 6-year-old daughter, Mia, sat with folded arms, refusing breakfast again. No nanny could feed her. No nanny could please her. No nanny ever lasted more than 2 weeks. Today was the same. 2 nannies stood helplessly with untouched plates. Mia hissed, "I don't like their food." Alexander rubbed his forehead. His daughter had stopped eating properly ever since her mother died 2 years ago. He carried her gently. "All right, princess. Let's go for a drive." As their black SUV rolled through a busy Lagos street, Mia leaned on the window. Suddenly her eyes widened. She saw a beautiful young woman, around 22, chocolate-skinned, in a simple Ankara gown, standing beside a small food table. She was sweating under the sun but still smiling warmly at her customers. Her name was Amara. Mia tapped the glass excitedly. "Daddy?" Daddy stopped the car. Alexander blinked. "What is it?" "I want to eat that woman's food." Alexander was shocked. "You want to eat street food?" "Yes. I like her." Her little finger pointed at Amara as if she had found an angel. Alexander stepped out of the SUV holding Mia. His bodyguards tried to follow, but he waved them back. Amara looked up, surprised to see a billionaire and his daughter approaching. "Good afternoon, sir," she said shyly. Mia rushed to her, holding her hand. "Auntie, please, I want your food." Amara smiled gently. "What do you want to eat, beautiful princess?" For the first time in months, Leah ate happily. She even giggled. Alexander's eyes never left Amara. Something about her purity, her soft tone, and how Mia instantly bonded with her touched him deeply. When they were leaving, Mia whispered to her father, "Daddy, can she be my nanny? She's the only one I like." Alexander froze. Amara was just a street food seller, innocent, hardworking, struggling. But Mia had never liked anyone this quickly. He nodded slowly. "We will see, princess." 3 days passed. Alexander couldn't stop thinking about Amara. Her smile. Her voice. Her simplicity. He found himself driving back to the same street stall. Amara looked shocked when she saw him. "Sir, you're back." He cleared his throat nervously. "Yes, I want to ask you something important." Her eyes widened slightly. "My daughter loves you. She wants you to be her nanny. And I'm willing to pay you very well." Amara's heart pounded. Her family needed money desperately. But this was unexpected. After a moment, she smiled softly. "I accept." As she signed the contract and entered the mansion days later, Alexander watched her from afar. The way she held Mia. The way she laughed. The way she moved softly through his home. His chest tightened. He hadn't felt this in years. He tried to sleep that night. But all he saw was her smile. That was when Alexander realized. He was falling in love with the girl who sold food on the street. Amara woke up before sunrise in her small but comfortable new room inside the billionaire's mansion. She touched the bedsheets gently. She had never slept on anything so soft. She dressed simply in a light blue blouse and a black knee-length skirt, tied her natural hair into a puff, and stepped quietly into Mia's room. Mia's eyes brightened instantly when she saw her. "Auntie Amara." She squealed and jumped into her arms. For the first time, Mia brushed her teeth without complaints, ate breakfast happily, and even laughed. The entire staff stared in disbelief. Alexander stood at the hallway watching, his chest warm. This young woman had done more in one morning than all the nannies in the past 2 years. Later in the day, Alexander walked into the living room. He stopped. Amara was sitting on the floor with Mia, building a toy house. Her soft laughter filled the room like gentle music. Alexander felt something strange again, a pull, a warmth, a desire to be close to her. He cleared his throat. She looked up quickly. "Good afternoon, sir." Her voice was soft, respectful. But her eyes were innocent and beautiful. "You can call me Alexander," he said gently. She shook her head shyly. "I can't call my boss by his name." He smiled, something he rarely did. This girl was different. To help Mia relax, Amara took her to the mansion garden. Alexander joined them unexpectedly. As they walked together, the breeze blew Amara's hair, and she laughed when Mia ran after butterflies. Alexander found himself staring, too long, too deep. "Amara," he said softly, "you're good with her." "Thank you." She looked at him, surprised by his tenderness. "I love children, sir. And Mia. She's a beautiful soul." For a moment, they held each other's gaze. An innocent moment, but powerful. Alexander had to look away. His heart was beating too fast. When night came, Mia refused to sleep without Amara beside her. Amara laid on the bed, stroking the child's hair until she fell asleep. Alexander stood quietly by the door. "Thank you," he whispered. Amara stepped out of the room and closed the door gently. "It's nothing, sir. Mia just needs love." Her words hit him deeply. He swallowed hard. It's been so long since she smiled like this. "And you?" Amara asked softly. "When last did you smile?" He stared at her, shocked that she could see through him so easily. "Until recently. I almost forgot how," he confessed. Their eyes locked again. The hallway was silent. Their breaths were slow, close, warm. Alexander stepped back, afraid he would do something he shouldn't. "Good night, Amara." "Good night, sir." But he didn't sleep. He kept turning in bed, thinking of her smile, her voice, her kindness. He knew the truth now. He was falling deeper every single day. At midnight, Alexander walked to his balcony, staring out at the quiet city lights. He ran his hand through his hair. "How can I fall for her?" he whispered to himself. "She's my daughter's nanny. She deserves a better life than this world of mine." But no matter how he fought it, he couldn't stop the feeling. In another room, Amara lay awake too. She didn't want to admit it, but she liked him. His gentleness, his eyes, his brokenness. Two hearts, two different worlds. But destiny was already tying them together. Days passed, and the atmosphere in Alexander's mansion changed completely. Mia woke up smiling. She ate without complaints. She laughed loudly again. And Alexander knew the reason was Amara. Every morning she greeted him respectfully. Every night she carried Mia gently to bed. Her presence softened the entire house. But it also softened him. And that scared him. One afternoon, Amara was in the kitchen preparing fruit for Mia. She sliced mangoes and pineapples carefully, humming softly. Alexander entered silently. He stopped. She looked beautiful standing there, simple, natural, glowing under the kitchen lights. "Good afternoon, sir," she said shyly. He replied quietly, "Amara? You can call me Alexander." She smiled a little. "I told you I can't. You're my boss." He stepped closer, not too close, but closer than usual. "You're more than just an employee," he said before he could stop himself. Her cheeks flushed. She quickly looked away. "Sir, people will talk." "Let them," he whispered. For a moment, their fingers brushed as she handed him a piece of mango. A soft shock passed between them. Neither breathed for a second. Later that day, while Amara braided Mia's hair, the little girl looked at her father mischievously. "Daddy, I like Auntie Amara the way you look at her." Alexander nearly choked on his water. "Mia." Amara gasped. The child giggled. "It's true. When she smiles, you stand still like a statue." Alexander rubbed his forehead, embarrassed. Amara's face turned red. But his heart melted. Children see truth before adults do. That evening, the mansion security guards informed Alexander that a car had been parked outside the gate for too long. A dark car. Two men inside. Watching. Alexander's face darkened instantly. He called his head of security. "Double the guards around the house. No one gets close to Amara or my daughter." "Sir," the guard asked, "is Amara in danger?" Alexander looked through the window at her, laughing with Mia on the couch. He clenched his jaw. "Just protect them." He didn't know why, but something in his stomach twisted. A warning. A fear. As if someone from her past, or his, was coming. Late at night, it started raining heavily. Amara was heading to her room when the lights flickered. She got frightened. She hated thunder. A loud thunder struck and she jumped. Alexander appeared behind her immediately. "Are you okay?" I don't like thunder," she whispered. Without thinking, he opened his arms. "Come here." She didn't resist. She stepped into his embrace, warm, strong, protective. Her head rested on his chest. His heartbeat raced. His arms tightened around her slowly, gently. Neither of them spoke. Neither wanted the moment to end. When another thunder boomed, she held him tighter and he whispered, "I'm here. I won't let anything harm you." Amara closed her eyes. "Say, come, love." Even though he hadn't said the word. When she finally pulled away, their faces stayed close. Too close. Their breaths touched. Her eyes dropped to his lips just for a second. He almost leaned in. Almost. But he stopped himself. "Good night, Amara," he whispered, voice shaking. "Good night, sir," she breathed. But that night, neither of them slept. For the first time they knew. This feeling was no longer small. It was love trying to bloom. In a dangerous world. The next morning, Amara came downstairs quietly, hoping Alexander had forgotten the way she held on to him last night. But he hadn't. Alexander was already in the dining room reading the newspaper, but he wasn't reading at all. When she entered, he lifted his eyes slowly, and their gaze locked. Both remembered the warmth of last night. Amara quickly bowed her head. "Good morning, sir." His voice was low, deep, soft. "Good morning, Amara." Their silence spoke louder than words. Mia ran in and grabbed Amara's hand happily, breaking the tension. As Amara prepared Mia for school lessons, the head housekeeper, Mrs. Obianuju, an older, strict, dark-skinned woman, watched her with narrowed eyes. She had worked for the Billionaire for years. She didn't like new people. And she especially didn't like how Alexander kept staring at Amara. "You seem very comfortable here," the woman said coldly. Amara froze. "I am just doing my job, Ma." "Be careful," the housekeeper warned. "Many girls have tried to use beauty to trap the master of this house." Amara swallowed hard. Was that how people saw her? She fought the sudden sting of tears. Unknowingly, Alexander had walked into the hallway and overheard the last part of the conversation. His voice cut through the air sharply. "Mrs. Obianuju." She spun around. "Yes, sir." "That young woman is under my protection. No one is allowed to speak to her disrespectfully. Do you understand?" The housekeeper bowed immediately. "Yes, sir." Amara's heart pounded. "Under his protection?" Alexander turned to her, his voice gentler. "You're not alone here, Amara." She nodded shyly, blinking away tears. Later that afternoon, while Amara was in the kitchen preparing snacks for Mia, her phone vibrated. The screen showed a name she never wanted to see again. Chekwamika, calling. Her abusive ex-boyfriend. The reason she ran away from her old neighborhood. The man who always demanded money. And threatened her when she refused. Her hands shook. She quickly turned off the phone, breathing heavily. But unknown to her, Alexander had walked into the kitchen and saw her fear. He stepped closer, concern filling his eyes. "Amara, are you okay?" "Yes, sir," she whispered, forcing a smile. But the lie trembled in her voice. He didn't push further, but his jaw tightened. He wanted to protect her. More than he should. More than he planned to. That evening, Amara was helping Mia arrange her storybooks when the child suddenly fell asleep on the floor. Alexander bent down to carry his daughter. At the same time Amara did. Their hands touched. They froze. Then they lifted Mia together, gently placing her on the bed. But when they turned, they were face to face. Too close. Too warm. Too tempting. His breath brushed her forehead. Her fingers grazed his arm. "Amara," he whispered, voice deep with emotion, "I don't know what's happening to me." Her heart raced. "Sir, please, we can't." "But I want you," he breathed. He took one step closer. She backed up, her back against the wall. Their eyes held each other. A thin line between desire and danger. Finally, she whispered, "If we cross this line, nothing will ever be the same." Alexander's hand brushed her cheek slowly, tenderly. Then he forced himself to step away. "You're right," he whispered painfully. "We have to be careful." But his eyes told a different truth. He was already in love. Too deep to escape. Night fell. The suspicious dark car returned. This time only one man stepped out. He leaned against the gate, watching the mansion with cold, angry eyes. It was Chekwamika. He lit a cigarette and smirked. "So this is where you're hiding, Amara," he muttered. "I'm coming for you." Amara woke up earlier than usual, her mind restless. She couldn't erase the memory of Alexander's breath against her skin. The way he whispered her name. The look in his eyes that almost pulled her into a kiss. She shook her head quickly. "No," she whispered to herself. "This job is too important. I can't ruin it." Downstairs, Mia was already waiting with her teddy bear, calling, "Auntie Maria, come." Amara smiled. Mia was her calm in the middle of chaos. But as they began breakfast, Amara kept avoiding Alexander's gaze. And Alexander. He kept stealing glances when he thought she wasn't looking. The tension only grew stronger. Alexander tried to focus on work, emails, business calls, meetings. Nothing worked. Every time he closed his eyes, Amara's soft voice echoed in his mind. Her shy smile. Her trembling hands. Her gentle scent. Her innocence. He exhaled deeply and rubbed his forehead. "Alexander, get a hold of yourself," he muttered. But he couldn't. The more he fought the feeling, the stronger it grew. Every time he heard her laughing with Mia, something warm lit up inside him. Something he hadn't felt in years. Something dangerous. That afternoon, one of the security guards approached the head of security. "Sir, the same black car was outside again last night," the guard reported. "Who was inside?" the supervisor asked. "A young man. Dark-skinned, hoodie. He didn't enter the compound, but he kept watching the gate." They shared a worried look. "I'll tell the boss," the head guard said. Inside the mansion, Chukwemeka wasn't just waiting. He was planning, plotting, watching for the perfect moment. His eyes burned with anger and possession. "She thinks she can run," he growled to himself. "She thinks she can hide. Amara, I'll remind you who you belong to." Later in the evening, Amara was helping Mia color pictures of animals when her phone began vibrating again. No caller ID this time. But she knew who it was. Her hands trembled as she silenced it. Mia looked up. "Auntie, are you okay?" Amara forced a smile. "I'm fine, baby. Just fine." But she wasn't. Her chest felt tight. Her breath grew uneven. She excused herself and ran to the bathroom, locking the door. Her reflection in the mirror frightened her. Eyes stressed, lips shaking, heart racing. She wanted to be strong. She wanted to forget her past. But her past wasn't done with her. Moments later, Alexander knocked on the bathroom door softly. "Amara, are you in there?" She tried to calm her voice. "Yes, sir. They'll be out soon." "You're crying," he said quietly. Her breath caught. She hadn't realized he could hear her. "Please," he said gently, almost pleading. "Just open the door." After a long hesitation, she unlocked it. Alexander stepped in, but not too close. Just enough to show he wasn't going anywhere. Seeing her tear-streaked face made something inside him break. "Who is hurting you?" he asked, voice deep and filled with emotion. Amara looked down. "And no one, sir." "Amara," he whispered, lifting her chin with one finger, "don't lie to me." For the first time, she didn't resist. Tears fell slowly as she whispered, "Someone from my past won't leave me alone." That was all he needed to hear. Alexander's jaw tightened with a protective rage he had never felt before. "You're safe here," he said softly. "I won't let anyone hurt you." Their eyes held each other. Too long. Too deep. Her heart pounded. His chest rose and fell heavily. The air between them thickened. He wanted to pull her close. But he controlled himself. Barely. "Let me protect you, Amara," he whispered. That night, Alexander held a private meeting with his security team. He spoke with a coldness Amara had never seen before. "If that car shows up again," he ordered, "I want the man inside detained." Immediately. "Yes, sir," the guards responded. Alexander's eyes darkened. Whoever was coming for Amara was coming through him first. Outside the mansion, the night was quiet. Too quiet. Until a shadowy figure, Chukwemeka, approached the gate again, watching the house with clenched fists. "Enjoy your peace, Amara," he murmured. "Because soon, I'm taking everything back." The next morning, the mansion felt unusually quiet. Amara moved through the kitchen slowly, still feeling the weight of last night. Her eyes were tired, but she forced a soft smile for Mia. Alexander entered the dining room a minute later. When their eyes met, everything came rushing back. The tears, the closeness, his hand lifting her chin, his promise to protect her. Amara quickly looked away. Alexander exhaled, frustrated with himself. He wanted to grab her, pull her into his arms. But the line between them was too thin, too fragile. He couldn't risk breaking her trust. By midday, the entire household staff had begun whispering. The guards noticed Alexander's mood. The cooks noticed Amara's sadness. The housekeeper, Mrs. Obianuju, watched her like a hawk. Everyone sensed something was changing. At one point, while Amara walked down the hallway with Mia in her arms, Mrs. Obianuju blocked her path. "You should be careful," she said coldly. "Love from a man like him never ends well for girls like you." Amara froze. Mia frowned. "Leave Auntie Amara alone." But the words cut deeper than the housekeeper knew. Well, was that even possible? Amara shook her head and walked away. But inside, her heart trembled. That afternoon, Alexander took Amara and Mia to his company headquarters. He had an important board meeting and didn't want to leave them alone after hearing about the mysterious car. The building was tall, glassy, powerful. Everything about Alexander's world screamed wealth and status. People stared as they entered. What? Because Alexander never brought anyone here. Not girlfriends. Not visitors. Not family members. But today, he walked in with a nanny and his daughter. And his eyes followed Amara everywhere. Amara felt exposed. Nervous. Like she didn't belong in such a place. But Mia clung to her happily, not wanting to be anywhere else. And Alexander. He kept looking back to check if she was okay. While Alexander was in his board meeting, Amara and Mia stayed in his private office. Mia drew pictures while Amara cleaned up her toys. Her phone buzzed. A text message. "I know where you are." Her body froze. Then another message. "Do you think rich people can protect you?" You're still mine. Her hands began shaking violently. No name was saved, but she recognized the number. Chukwamika. Mia looked up. Auntie. Your face is white. Amara forced a smile so painful it made her jaw ache. And nothing, baby. Let's keep drawing. But her entire body was trembling. When the meeting ended, Alexander returned to his office and immediately noticed the change. Amara was holding Mia too tightly. Her eyes were red. Her hands were shaking. Amara. What happened? She tried to speak, but tears fell instead. He stepped closer. Show me your phone. She hesitated. But for the first time she trusted him enough. She handed it to him. When Alexander saw the messages, something dark rose in him. A level of anger he hadn't felt in years. His jaw clenched. His chest tightened. His eyes turned cold, deadly. This man. He whispered, voice low and dangerous. He wants to threaten you? Amara cried softly. I don't want trouble, sir. I just want to live in peace. Alexander stared at her for a long moment. Then he said something he didn't plan to say. You're not alone, Amara. Not anymore. Those words broke something inside her. The part of her that thought no one cared. No one would fight for her. No one would choose her. She wiped her tears slowly. And for the first time, she let herself believe she was safe. With him. That evening, as they returned to the mansion, security guards rushed to Alexander. Sir, we found this at the gate. They handed him a small folded note. He opened it. She belongs to me. Stay out of this. Amara saw his face darken with rage. Who put this here? He demanded. A man in a hoodie, sir. He escaped before we could reach him. Alexander closed his eyes for a few seconds. And when he opened them, he wasn't the calm billionaire anymore. He was a man ready for war. He turned to Amara, voice deep and steady. He wants a fight? He stepped closer to her. Then he just found the wrong man to threaten. Amara's heart pounded. Fear mixed with something else. Something dangerous. Something warm. Something she wasn't ready to name. When hearts begin to shift. Days passed and the mansion slowly began to feel warmer, brighter, because of one person, Amara. Every morning, the 22-year-old dark-skinned young woman woke early to prepare fresh meals Mia loved. And Mia, Alexander's 6-year-old daughter with light brown skin and curly ponytails, was now happier than she had been in years. She laughed more, ate without complaining, and clung to Amara affectionately. But the one who felt the biggest change was Alexander, the 35-year-old billionaire with fair skin, sharp features, and a quiet, commanding presence. He was falling for Amara. Deeply. One cool evening, after a long day at work, Alexander stepped into the living room. His tie was loose, sleeves rolled up, showing how drained he was. But the moment his eyes landed on Amara, he straightened slightly, his exhaustion melting. Amara stood in the center of the room, folding Mia's tiny clothes. She wore simple navy blue jeans and a soft cream top. Her natural beauty glowed under the warm lights, graceful and unintentional. Alexander tried to greet her casually. He failed. His voice came out soft. Warm. Too warm. They talked quietly about Mia, her progress, her appetite, her mood. But the air between them shifted when Mia woke up from her sleep and walked out sleepily, calling both their names. The little girl rushed to her father, hugged him tightly, then grabbed Amara's hand and pulled her close, making both adults sit beside her on the couch. Their shoulders brushed. Their breaths paused. And for a brief moment their eyes met. Alexander felt his heartbeat stumble. Amara turned her face away shyly, her chest fluttering. For the first time he understood it clearly. He wasn't only grateful to Amara. He wasn't only impressed by her kindness. He was falling in love with her. And Amara, though she fought the feeling, was beginning to fall too. The mansion had grown quieter, but their hearts had grown louder. Something had begun. The next morning began peacefully, but Amara's heart was not at peace. She kept thinking about the man who showed up at the mansion gate, Chukwamika, the abusive ex who once controlled her life. She didn't know he had seen her. She didn't know he was planning something. But she felt something was wrong. Her body felt heavy. Her mind restless. Amara tried to hide it, but Alexander noticed instantly. He was in the dining room wearing a navy blue suit, preparing for work while Mia ate her breakfast happily. But his eyes kept drifting toward Amara, who stood by the counter stirring tea with trembling hands. Amara, he said softly, you look worried. She forced a smile. I'm fine, sir. He didn't believe her. He knew her too well now. Mia suddenly tugged Amara's hand. Auntie Amara, sit with us. Amara sat beside her. The little girl leaned her head on Amara's arm, giving her a kind of comfort no adult ever gave her. Alexander watched them, his heart warming and tightening at the same time. This woman had changed his daughter's world. And his. After breakfast, Alexander walked toward the door to leave for the office, but instead of stepping outside, he stopped and turned back. Amara, he called gently. She looked up. Please. If anything is bothering you, you can tell me. You don't have to hide. Those words almost broke her. No one had ever spoken to her with such care. Her lips parted. She almost told him everything, but fear shut her voice. Instead, all she said was, "Thank you, sir." Alexander's eyes lingered on her for a moment before he left. Later that afternoon, while Amara helped Mia paint in the playroom, her phone vibrated again. A known number. Amara, you can't hide from me. Her blood froze. Her hand shook. She dropped the phone. Mia looked up cutely. Auntie Amara, what happened? Amara forced a smile and picked up the phone instantly, hiding the screen. Nothing, my love. Keep painting. But inside, panic spread like wildfire. When Alexander returned earlier than usual that evening, he found Amara sitting outside by the garden, hugging her knees, staring into space. Her eyes were red. He walked to her slowly and sat beside her. Amara, he whispered, please, talk to me. She inhaled shakily. Her voice broke. I think someone from my past is trying to find me. Alexander's jaw tightened. His hand curled into a fist. Is it a man? He asked sharply. She nodded. Alexander leaned forward, his voice low and dangerous. Who is he? Amara hesitated, then said his name for the first time. Chukwemeka. Alexander's face changed completely. Cold, protective, angry. Amara, he said firmly, from today onward, you and Mia won't step outside this house without security. You're safe here. I will not let anyone harm you. A tear slipped down her cheek. He gently wiped it with his thumb. Their faces were close. Too close. His touch was warm. His eyes held a promise. In that moment, Amara felt something she hadn't in years. Safety. Alexander's voice softened. I'm here for you. Always. And she believed him. Even though danger was already standing outside the gates, watching, waiting, coming closer. The mansion was quiet that morning. Sunlight poured through the tall windows, but inside, hearts were louder than the world outside. Amara woke early, preparing breakfast with the care she had always shown for Mia. Today there was no fear, no trembling, no worry about Chukwemeka. The past had finally been left behind. Outside, Alexander was pacing in the study, but when he saw Amara walk into the kitchen, everything inside him softened. His heart no longer fought the feeling he had tried to deny for weeks. Mia, Amara called gently, breakfast is ready. The little girl came running, her curly hair bouncing, and hugged both Amara and her father tightly. Alexander looked at Amara, smiling warmly. You've done so much for her. And for me. Amara blushed, looking down shyly. I just care about your family. Alexander stepped closer, taking her hand in his. You're more than just part of my family, Amara. You're everything I didn't know I was missing. Amara's eyes widened, a warmth spreading through her chest. For the first time, she let herself hope. Later that day, Alexander arranged something special. In the mansion garden, decorated with soft lights and fragrant flowers, he knelt before Amara. Mia clapped excitedly beside them. Amara, Alexander said, his voice trembling slightly, from the moment you came into our lives, you've brought love, light, and happiness. Will you be my partner, my love? For life. Tears filled Amara's eyes. Yes, yes, Alexander. Mia cheered, hugging them both, completely overjoyed. Months later, the mansion was even brighter. Alexander and Amara were married in a small, intimate ceremony with Mia as the flower girl. Amara wore a beautiful white dress that glowed against her dark skin, and Alexander looked handsome in a tailored suit. Life settled into a happy rhythm. Amara's laughter filled every corner of the mansion. Mia was happier than ever, proudly calling Amara, Mommy, in between giggles and hugs. And soon the family grew by one more. Amara held her newborn baby in her arms, Alexander beside her, both overwhelmed with love and gratitude. Mia watched with wide eyes, softly stroking her little sibling's hair. Alexander whispered to Amara, we made it. Together. Amara smiled, resting her head against his chest. Together. Always. Outside, the world continued, but inside their home, love, safety, and family had won. The shadows of the past had disappeared, leaving only warmth, trust, and unending devotion. If you enjoy this story, please like and subscribe for more of the story. See you again in the next story. Thank you for watching.